And I'd been shopping at Bruce's, not realising how new the shop was. And it was in the days when record shops were really divided between cool ones and very, very uncool ones. And Bruce's was a cool one. And I went into Bruce's, and Bruce said, and I said, I'm trying to get in the music business, and I don't know how. And I was very wet. And Bruce said, well, come and work behind the counter here. And I said, I can't work behind the counter here. I've got 2 degrees. And he said, don't be ridiculous. And I went and worked as a shop assistant for Bruce's in Rose Street. And eventually came back and lived above the shop at one point. I then went and opened a shop in Dundee for him. And we had Rod opened the shop. We had, and it was in December. It was about December the 15th, something like that. And we working like Trojans to get the shop open. And for a couple of tickets to the Dundee Celtic game, Rod agreed to come and open the shop. So we put ads in the paper, Rod Stewart opening new Bruce's record shop, Reform Street, Dundee. There were 5,000 kids camped overnight in the street outside. And we had no idea what we were doing. I was 22 or something, 23. And they were in the shop, over the counter. They wrecked the store. Rod was 2 hours late. But we were on the front page of every Sunday newspaper in Scotland. It was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. But it was a nightmare, total nightmare. But so that was so yeah, we did sell a lot of Faces records. We lost some significant amounts of stock that we just don't, And the thing was, because the shop was so brand new, we hadn't really done a full. I mean, we'd taken our orders in, but we'd also, because Bruce's was quite big in those days. We had 14 stores around central Scotland, or 12 or 14 stores around central Scotland. So obviously some of the stock we'd shipped in from other shops, so we didn't know what we'd lost and what we'd had. So actually I was going to say it was an inauspicious start, but it wasn't. It was an auspicious start. It went exactly how we wanted it to. But we never really understood discounting. Discounting came along, and Virgin were discounting, and by then there were Virgin stores cropping up everywhere. And we didn't really know what to do, so we just took 10% off the price of everything, with the result that our turnover dropped by 10% overnight. So I kind of realised I didn't know very much about marketing and stuff like that at that point. And but no, they were so much the record shop that there was another record shop in Edinburgh at the time. There were 56 record shops in Edinburgh in 1976. But one of our key rivals was called The Other Record Shop because they weren't Bruce's. I mean, that's how cool we were. It was just regular salesmen. The A&M rep used to come into our store and ask me to tell him about their records because we knew more about them than they did. And we talked all the time. The extraordinary thing about Bruce's was we talked, when we had a problem, and I had problems all the time at Dundee because nobody in England could work out that Dundee was effectively half a day's working day away from Edinburgh. So they'd say, oh no, the records are in Edinburgh. And you go, there's no bloody use to me. And but we didn't call up the local rep or even the sales manager. We called up the managing director. So I was on first name terms with all the MDs, aged 22, 23, going, you bastards, where are my bloody records and all this kind of stuff. So when I came down to London, which was in 76, 77, I could call up, of course half of them said, sod off, mates. I remember you. And the other half thought we were great because we were, we were up for it and trying to make things happen. But the truth was, in those days, you could. It was the professionalism of things was not so that you worked your way up through the hierarchy to get to the right person to talk to. We had a problem. Call the MD. Give him a hard time.